And welcome to the No Assembly Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing and where we alienate the entire YouTube community on a regular basis. And now your trio of hosts, first starting with Audrey Ember, and of course everyone's favorite Romina the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and your favorite Dark Lord of the internet, the master of fear himself, Roberto Blake. Welcome to the No Assembly Required podcast, filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. Please like and subscribe.
We're already in the Christmas theme. This is great.
We're just skipping over Thanksgiving.
No one can. It's Christmas is all that matters. Thanksgiving doesn't matter.
I mean, I miss the fact that when you get to do Creator Thanksgiving up in New York at 368.
Yeah, I like the roasted turkeys and whatnot. Speak for yourself,
yeah, Christmas. Or, whatever.
It's not the same.
I'm all about those holiday hams. I'm not going to settle for one when I can have two.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
True. I'm not hating on Thanksgiving. I'm just saying Christmas is better.
They're two different holidays.
I want both.
Have
I
you
deserve
seen
everything.
Audrey, have you seen Trains, Planes, and Automobiles?
It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
All right.
Wait, let me look it up.
Romina, you know bloody well that Audrey is not quite cultured in the cinema.
You know,
in the cinema?
This isn't really cinema, but my roommates are showing me a bunch of old cartoons and stuff that I missed. Or shows, childhood shows. So
do tell.
Yesterday we watched an episode of Hannah Montana, which I had never seen before.
Well, that's not a cartoon.
It's like kid shows. I was watching cartoons, they were watching Hannah Montana.
Okay, so tell us about some of these actual cartoons. Okay.
Yeah, tell us about the cartoons.
Tell us about the actual cartoons, because that's what matters.
Well, we weren't really watching cartoons yesterday. We watched
just the kid show. Wizards of Waverly Place.
No.
Please tell me that you know what As Told by Ginger.
Roberto would like that. What?
Please tell me you know about As Told by Ginger.
That's too old. She's not old.
I'm not ancient.
Ancient. Yeah, we know that.
No, ancient would be knowing about the original Looney Tunes. Ancient would be knowing about
the Looney Tunes.
The original Looney Tunes. Ancient would be knowing who Tex. Ancient would be knowing who Tex Avery is. Ancient would be actually knowing who Tex Avery is. Ancient would be knowing about. Ancient would be knowing about Oswald.
No, I know this guy. I've seen some of these. I don't know where.
Who? Which is
Tex Avery?
Oh.
I recognize him.
If you were an ancient cartoon aficionado, you'd know about things like the Herculoids, or Flip the Frog, or Gigantor, or
you really gonna
Battle
go down
of the
this
Planets.
Route? We're only 3 minutes in.
No.
You'd know about some real legit Hanna-Barbera. You know about.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't get that in depth.
It's more
even the knockoff, spin-off Hanna-Barbera stuff like Yogi's Ark, obscure stuff. The space races, Yogi's Ark.
Space Ghost?
Yeah, Space Ghost. And the Far Out Wacky Races.
I loved that. I used to watch that.
Cool. You know a little bit. Probably because of Boomerang and Cartoon Network, though.
Love that. Yes.
You know about some Augie Doggy and Doggy Daddy?
See, I need to see pictures of them, and I would probably remember a lot easier.
You know about some Heathcliff?
Heathcliff.
You don't know? Oh my God! You don't know about Heathcliff, Riff Raff, and the Cadillac Cats? How dare
Every
you?
single one that you've said so far, I recognize once I like look up pictures of them.
Guys, we're literally under 5 minutes right now.
I'm just
I don't
offended.
remember the names, but
I'm just
I'll recognize
wildly
them.
offended.
All right, Audrey. Hey, Arnold.
I recognize the name. Let me look it up.
Oh my god.
Yes, okay, I recognize it. See, I needed to see a picture.
Oh my god.
All right, okay.
I'm too upset. I feel I'm just wildly offended.
All right.
Like your whole generation's a write-off.
Wow.
No, I'm just a bad example.
Well,
Dude,
before
I recognize so many of those cartoons.
Roberto cancels your entire generation on Twitter. What is your generation? What are you?
Z.
All right. Roberto's
like
gonna start a trend. Cancel Gen Z.
Gen Z is over party. Let's get this going. Gen Z is over party. Let's make it happen, people.
I'm kind of like on that weird spot where I'm in between, but I definitely am more Gen Z than Millennium.
I would say culturally you are definitely more Gen Z. Although I would argue that you do have an old soul.
Okay, well that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Your taste notwithstanding, you have an old soul.
All right, so to kind of backtrack before this all spiraled out of my control, have you
In like
seen?
7 minutes.
Did you recognize? You looked up trains, planes, and automobiles. Did you recognize it?
One. Trains, please.
Freaking, she's over here. She's like, "Oh yeah,
no.
we were watching old cartoons like Hannah Montana."
No.
You know the
Ew.
classic.
In the same category. You know what I mean?
Oh,
No.
Michael with that DuckTales.
Yeah, I used to watch
Life
DuckTales.
is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, airplanes.
See, how do you remember all these details? Like, I don't remember
oh my
any of these
god.
details.
I could sit here and I could do the theme from freaking Rescue Rangers right now.
Oof, do it.
Sometimes some crimes go slipping through the cracks, but these two gumshoes
How do you
picking
remember
up the slack. There's no.
Oof. What
Yeah,
about the
so-
Care Bears?
Oh my god, I hated the Care Bears.
Who's that coming from somewhere
scary.
up in the sky? Yeah, I know. I'm an 80s kid. I have this down, embedded in my memory banks forever and ever.
Oh man! Speaking of that, what about the Muppet Babies?
Muppet Baby. Yeah, no, I know the whole thing. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Ow.
Because it's just ingrained. It's just like a part of. It's like knowing that Coca-Cola's colors are red and white. You know, it's just like a thing that's just ingrained. Because
I must have watched Tom and Jerry like 20 billion times when I was younger, and I don't remember the theme song or like
Tom
how
and
it
Jerry
goes.
Kids. I remember specifically that.
It
I even
depends.
know
It depends on which one you watch, though, because depending on which one you watch, they don't all have theme songs.
Yeah, not all of them. A lot of the older ones don't and everything like that. But the 90s stuff did too. We're tiny,
Yeah.
we're toony, we're all a little loony, and you watch
when they
cartoony,
got
we are
into-
invading your TV. Yeah, no.
When they got
Copyright
into
strikes
shows.
all around.
Yeah.
We're
Speaking
just
of that,
doing different shows, or cartoons and chat.
speaking of that, they're rebooting the Animaniacs.
It's time for Animaniacs. Yeah, no, I know.
The reason that I know most of the countries that are on this planet.
And the thing is, I loved how they embedded education into that, and that was so good. That freaking country's song was so good. But anyway, the
Did you see the trailer for the reboot?
oh, I did. I loved how tongue in cheek it is. I wanted to talk to you about that. It's so tongue in cheek. There's like,
yeah, I think they did a pretty good
my
job because
God.
I mean, the Animaniacs were not politically correct, really. By
oh, I love it.
so I'm kind of excited to see what they do with it, and hopefully they don't shy away from.
I don't
from
think
that.
they will. I don't think they will. And I think like the Animaniacs is too over the top for like, if anybody takes it seriously, if anybody tries to take it seriously and cancel the Animaniacs or get in their feelings, they're soft, they're soft, they're weak, they're soft, they're weak, they should be clowned from the internet. I'm not even playing. If they come for the Animaniacs, if they come for my Pinky and the Brain, so help me.
Why do Animaniacs look like a off-brand Mickey Mouse?
I mean, it's kind of because
that was a thing back then, to be honest.
Yeah, and they're also they're also making fun of the entertainment industry.
Yes,
that was like their whole.
Their whole thing. It was so tongue in cheek. It was so like. It was like memes before memes exist. Because it was inner industry commentary.
Yeah. I'm excited that Pinky and the Brain is also a part of that. Because I love Pinky and the Brain.
There's so much of Pinky and the Brain that inspires this podcast that people just miss.
Yeah. It's amazing. I love Pinky and the Brain.
The Pinky and the Brain. The Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane. And did you notice that like I can actually kind of do the voices of the things that I'm like Yes. So what are we gonna do tonight, Brain?
I have no idea what's going on.
Nop. That's where Narp comes from when Pinky would do Nop. Like he would he would, like that's where Narp comes from. God, so much nostalgia, so much. Like,
Audrey's like, good. I can't believe I signed up for this. We're only 11 minutes in.
I feel really good right now about all this nostalgia.
We've already been berated 3 times.
Y'all will not come from my nostalgia. I will literally, this is the hill that not only will I won't have to die on this hill because I will assemble an army of 80s and 90s kids to defend the kingdom of classic animation to the death.
Michael says, oh my God, Roberto, my fiance just continued singing it. Yeah, you know,
she's a woman of class, taste, and culture.
Of course. Speaking of like watching old cartoons and stuff, I actually went back because I noticed that Hey Arnold was all on Hulu, so I started watching some Hey Arnold stuff, and it's so good. Like it
still holds up, huh?
Really well. Like it's really entertaining and weird and funny. And you know what's one interesting detail, Roberto, that I kind of noticed, which is interesting, is the fact that all of the characters in Hey Arnold, including Arnold, they would all be classified as bullies. Like,
in what way?
They are all really kind of, I don't want to say the word cruel because they're not cruel, but they act like how children act, you know, where they're not nice to each other and they make fun of each other.
Isn't that, given their age, isn't that kind of the point? And how is Arnold like a bully?
You gotta watch it. He does. There's just certain things like
I'll have to rewatch it because it's like, I mean, there are characters that I no longer believe to be like the good guy anymore. Like,
right. But I think so.
Cobra Kai being a primary example of where I really believe. Like, I'm not saying that Johnny and his friends were good guys. I'm saying that Daniel was the instigator, and like they wouldn't have had nothing to do with him if he didn't like keep on pressing things and keep on agitating them and coming out of left field for no reason.
That's kind of like my point is in watching Hey Arnold, there's not like a very clear, this is like a bad guy, this is the bad kid because he's the bully and he's making fun of our protagonist every day, you know. It's everybody is like that. Everybody is just kind of has this tough love attitude. Every single character, including Arnold, because like sometimes he says stuff, even though Arnold's kind of like chill, because that's his personality. But even him, and even like Gerald,
that's kind of like Charlie Brown.
It's definitely a tough love thing. It's like kids are cruel, deal with it, but we're all in this together kind of thing.
That's Charlie Brown. Like, you want to talk about everybody being trash, then you'd have to talk about Charlie Brown.
Wow. Really? Audrey?
It's true. It's true. I was just looking at pictures.
Could you please say that out loud?
Why does Arnold look like an obtuse triangle?
I mean, that's
these are
somewhat
just
fair.
facts.
I mean, literally though, the running joke is that he's a football head.
Yeah. And we also don't know anything about his parents, really, or where he came from.
They were going to, if the series had continued, they were going to actually explore that.
Well, I think they did in one of the movies.
They hinted at it, but like that was all going to be truly revealed in like a final season. I
also didn't really like the first kiss between Helga and Arnold. It felt really forced
because it was the play. Because it was the play. I don't like that they forced it in that way either. I think it should have been something where she couldn't weasel her way out of it as an excuse.
Yeah, it's just kind of like it's been there for such a long time. Yeah, I'm just like, just because a character has a lifetime crush on one of the other characters doesn't mean they have to end up together,
They explored the idea. One, they didn't they didn't unless they got another season, in which case I've heard from that's how it would go. And there was stuff in the movie, but they didn't get to continue what happens after the movie. But the thing is, aside from Helga antagonizing him, Arnold had nothing against her and he felt sorry for her. And the thing is, I like the exploration. They showed that with the flashbacks to like kindergarten, but I also, the thing that was interesting is Helga's abusive family. And I think that they were shying away from that more than they would if they did the series today.
All right. I mean, there's a couple other things that are mentioned here in the chat. 90s Spider-Man.
Peter Parker in 90s Spider-Man was a jerk. I like the 90s Spider-Man so much, but that version of Peter Parker is like even though we were supposed to like him, I started watching it again. I'm like, I kind of dislike this guy. He's kind of full of himself.
What about SpongeBob?
I used to hate SpongeBob.
Ooh. What? Tell us about it.
I think it's that my younger siblings played it to the point of annoyance. And I also think that at the initial first couple of seasons of SpongeBob, I resented that this was the caliber of art and animation that made it onto Nickelodeon. You have to remember that back then, I still wanted to be an animator and it was still my childhood dream. And I was trying really hard. And I felt like the first couple of seasons of SpongeBob, I felt insulted of like how I felt I could never make it and would never make it. And this is what got into the industry. I was just petty, I guess. But I think a lot of people who work really hard at drawing and art, sometimes when they see the styles of things like how the Teen Titans Go like style of animation, and like when they did the very immature version of Thundercats after canceling the like really dark, gritty reboot. I think when people see stuff like that and they work really hard to do like detailed art, they could get angry and they could get insulted by that when it's just a different art style and it's just a different taste and it's for a different audience and there's nothing wrong with it, especially when it's targeted toward really, really young kids. But I could see how a lot of animators and artists who are like, man, I have no chance and no hope, and yet this gets on the air. I could see people in general can feel like that. I'm sure, Romina, like you, like when you were out in Hollywood, you would see a lot of people and a lot of things that were like subpar, and you're like, how the hell is this an acceptable standard? This is a mediocre performance. This is trash, or this is bad writing, or this is, and like this got on the
Yeah.
So that's how I felt about SpongeBob. I like, in hindsight though, SpongeBob is highly entertaining. The memes are amazing that come out of it, and I like later stuff from it. And I like, there's personal things that I like. I'm like, I love the whole like, here lies Squidward's hopes and dreams. That thing was that scene. I always and like where he's laying flowers at the grave, and you're like, oh, is this serious? And then it's like, here lies Squidward's hopes and dreams, and I was like, oh man. I could just like feast on that squid's despair and be sustained forever.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand where it is that you're coming from with all of that. I mean, I did enjoy it, just because I thought it was entertaining, but it definitely doesn't carry like the same substance. Like watching Hey Arnold now, like as an adult, I can see that there's a lot of it carries a lot more weight.
It's like, how dare they cancel this and then keep some of this other crap on the air forever?
Right. One of the other things that I watched
I love
the other
Invader
night,
Zim.
I watched Dexter's Lab the other night. Doesn't really hold up as far as like it's still entertaining.
I'd have to watch it again. The later stuff I think in it does. The early stuff not so much.
No, right. And so that's the stuff that I started off watching was like the early, like the very.
But remember,
first
like
season.
it started out as a short, and then it same thing with the Powerpuff Girls. I think the last stuff for Powerpuff Girls would have held up still.
Yeah. Ooh,
and I think
Invader Zim's great.
Invader Zim's great. I think Powerpuff Girls, there's so much meme fodder that could have come from that if they'd kept going.
All right, Audrey's over here breaking our chat.
What'd she do?
Why did it send us 3 different ones?
What did you find the Squidward's Hopes and Dreams thing?
I can't delete them
because it's too long.
I sent it in the StreamYard. That's why I did that.
Unbelievable. All right.
Oh, handsome Squidward. Yes, handsome Squidward. That's a whole thing. I love the 80s Ninja Turtles as a kid, and there were some Ninja Turtles stuff later series that I thought were very good. There was like some 90s stuff that was like, I like the 90s Ninja Turtles that was on CBS a little bit more, that was a continuation of the 80s one. The 80s theme and also the dark, gritty stuff and some of the humor in the 80s one that was over some people's heads, I still liked and everything. I still remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes on the Half Shell, Turtle. I remember the whole thing, but I also remember the 80s movie. I still think the 80s movie of Ninja Turtles, to be honest, holds up. And I still think that captures an era of New York that in some ways still exists today. That whole rebellious teen punk culture of New York is captured in the 80s Ninja Turtles movie. Still exists today as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
As a New Yorker, I think that the New York as captured in the first 2 Ninja Turtles films still holds up.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I get that vibe.
The amazing $2 pizza on the street also still is very much like captured in that and is still reminiscent of today.
Yeah. So this is interesting.
Now I want $2 New York style pizza with the cheese hanging right off right now. Jesus Christ! Why did I do that to myself?
Do the New York fold.
Fold it. No.
Yes.
No.
Fold it. Yes.
There is no other way.
Okay. What do you mean? I don't think I've had New York pizza.
I can barely contain my anger.
Oh no. Audrey, we're not even 30 minutes in.
Why would
I should have brought that up. I'm sorry.
Blasphemy. By the way, have you guys noticed that I'm less choppy today? That my camera's less choppy today?
Should we tell you?
You're kind of glitchy looking, no?
You're really pixelated.
Okay, that is probably, let me close a bunch of windows. That's probably more of a bandwidth thing than
not gonna say anything.
I like how
that's probably more of a, that's a bandwidth issue. You guys are pixelated on mine, but I'm sure you're clear on the
Excuse me. Audrey and I are crystal clear on my end.
With our 720
like on the back end of my thing, I'm crystal clear. Like when I'm looking in StreamYard, but I'm sure like on the thing, it's like I'll be probably clear in the replay, to be honest.
We'll see about that.
We'll see. But here's the thing: I'm not choppy. There's not a lag because I went and I just decided to set my camera to 60 frames per second, no matter what. And so yeah.
Roberto, did you see the Enter the Florpus, the Invader Zim
yes,
movie?
I did. Yes.
We need to go on topic.
What?
It's such a good. It's so good, to be honest.
This is our YouTube rewind.
Actually, let's
doing a rewind.
so Audrey can participate. Let's get into that.
All right. Okay. All right.
Sad.
You want to throw us in, Audrey?
I'm sad. I mean, I get why they're not doing it. But it's still kind of selfishly, I think it's kind of sad because it's kind of like a sort of like a little tradition, and I get why they're not doing it. It makes perfect sense. But it's still like, I don't know. Isn't this the first time they skip a year since they started?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like this was kind of, it was going to happen.
Well, yeah.
I know. No, I think that if they really wanted to make one, they could have. They didn't because they don't want to, because they've been bashed way too much the last few years, and they're just like, what's the point? And they're just like, oh, we're just going to use this as an excuse to not do it.
No, I disagree. It's political suicide for them.
Why? To just do a rewind?
It's political suicide for them because it will be tone deaf. It's the same reason that advertisers during certain periods of time went dark and didn't advertise, and you had a whole window of that. And remember that YouTube Rewind is largely about the advertisers. The creators are being promoted to the advertisers. So the thing is, there were several nightmares. One, like they got backlash for doing the top 10 thing. So if they tried to do something and go back to involving creators, then ultimately there's logistics, liability, timing. The lawyers probably said no because of the virus. And then there was so many things in terms of the fact that you have to anticipate what would the headlines say. And it's not like the media are friends of YouTube because they are direct competitors with YouTube, even though they're not required by the FTC to disclose every time they write about YouTube or write a clickbait trash headline roasting a creator. They're not allowed to say that this is a direct competitor of ours for our advertising dollars that we are now criticizing. When you are sitting there and you are flaming competitor, you're usually required in the same way that we have to disclose like a brand deal or this or that. You should, by law. I've talked to people about this. Like, you should be required to say, hey, I'm talking about my direct competitor. When you're a publisher, you have to disclose that, and they don't. And then they write their trash clickbait headlines, and I could literally see the mainstream media saying YouTube is tone deaf, and how dare they? And I also could see the fact, like, the creator community has decided that YouTube is the enemy. There's nothing, and I mean nothing, YouTube could do. They could pull together a creator's wish list. They could let PewDiePie direct the damn YouTube Rewind in earnest, and people would still find something to complain about. YouTube will never, ever, ever get a break from the culture and the community. YouTube could literally do everything right, and the people will still find a reason to complain because they're a bunch of entitled, spoiled effing brats whining about a free platform that I would have killed for as a teenager that lets you make money. And I had to live through damn Angel Fire, Gedo Cities, and Lycos. And you kids get everything and you still bitch and moan about it. I'm an old man and I'm grumpy.
I mean, it's kind of true.
I mean, yeah, everyone likes to like roast me about being and defending YouTube and being YouTube's right knight, and they like joke about me being like a secret YouTube employee. I wish. Like, and the reality is, it's like I'm just grateful to have a free freaking platform with unlimited hosting for 4K video, because my own, like Comcast, I pay for Comcast and I don't get as nearly as good of a service out of Comcast as I do out of YouTube. Comcast charged me like $600 for going over on bandwidth doing this live stream and stuff like that during the summer until I did like an upgrade. And I was like, Jesus Christ, what would YouTube, if YouTube had to charge me for bandwidth, how much money would I be paying to host my videos? And it's insane. And we get it for free and nobody's ever grateful. So like, would I have loved the YouTube Rewind? Yeah. But from a company standpoint, they would have burned money just for people to trash them and just for the clickbait media to go ahead and do a drive-by hit piece on them about being tone deaf. And it would have really accomplished nothing of value for the platform. So why waste millions of dollars? So that's my thought.
Yep.
Yup. Audrey, this is your time.
I wonder, do you think so is this like do you think they're going to come back next year then and make one? Or do you think this is kind of like the beginning of the end? Because they just said they weren't going to make one this year. But
if I were them, I would stop caring. If I were them, here's what I'd do. If I were them, I would just disable the damn likes on the thing. Oh, you want to like make disliking YouTube Rewind a meme? Fine, we'll just turn off the dislikes. And it's not like they can't run a spam filter and everybody wants to cry censorship. It's like it's their own damn platform. They're running an ad. It's like no one has to turn likes on an ad. This thing is an ad. Get over it. I would literally just play I'm a grown up. It's my platform. We're throwing millions of dollars at this. We're giving you kids a free playground. We're enforcing rules on said playground, and you can get over it. Because I'm an old man, and I'm not playing around anymore. I'm a grumpy old man. I do grumpy old man things, and I would send the kids to freaking detention if they want to flex. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
I think that makes sense. I don't know why they didn't turn likes off last time, because we all knew it was going to happen no matter what they did. That seems like an easy fix. I wonder why they didn't do that. Maybe they thought it'd make people more mad if they turned.
Like, here's the thing. I don't care. Like, I would be like YouTube corporate should stop. Like, they should care about what creators think, and they should care about what viewers think about the service that they are providing. YouTube doesn't have to support the culture of the platform anymore. Much as people would love for them to do that, when YouTube was a niche corner of the internet for artsy types, nerds, and things like that, it was one thing. YouTube is now a global platform and a household name. The same rules don't apply when you're a niche, and when you're niche and you're small and your thing is only for your friend group, which is what YouTube was for a very long time. YouTube was just for us internet nerds, and the YouTube community and the YouTube company were a very close ecosystem. Okay. But that's not the case when you become a global multi-billion-dollar corporation that is literally replacing television. The television networks, we don't have a relationship with the television networks, nor do we expect to have one. And I think we need to get over the idea that we have a relationship with YouTube. And I think that YouTube, as the replacement to television for the 21st century, needs to get on with the business of being a corporation that allows people to make money from the comfort of their home, because we all know that the reality is that, like, so what if YouTube doesn't support the culture of the platform? As long as they're still writing you checks, giving you free bandwidth, and letting you upload things, and you color within the lines. Oh my God, you can't curse. Oh my God, you can't wish death upon people. Oh my God, you can't do the things that would get you fired from your 9-to-5 job. Oh my God, you can't do the same things that would get you suspended for school. Cry me a damn river.
Yeah, I don't know why people
you have unlimited freedom you have unlimited freedom beyond the don't do the same crap that you get fired from work from, and don't do the same crap that gets you arrested, and don't do the same crap that would get you suspended from school. Other than that, you can do whatever the hell you want, and you might even actually profit from it. My God.
The only good thing that can come out of this is a bunch of fan YouTube rewinds, which sometimes are pretty good. So maybe a lot more people will do it this year.
I think so. I mean, why not? If they don't, then the sense of community in YouTube is gone.
Society.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess to me, it was never really something special.
No, I remember like even in high school being like, can't wait to go see what it is this year. Like it was kind of like a thing.
See, I guess I didn't have that. For me, it was just like a thing that YouTube did, and that was it. I don't know.
Oh, we like glorified ads, basically.
I mean, to me, I was just like, oh, cool. Like, you know, I noticed like somebody that I knew was in it.
Yeah.
But it was like, that was kind of it.
That was the fun part. It was like trying to spot how many people you knew in the video.
I liked it, and I liked looking up. People complain about not recognizing certain creators. One, if you didn't recognize creators, you probably aren't part of that community, and that doesn't matter. I'm so tired of when I hear reactionaries and commentary channels talk about all the people they don't know. It's like, how about the fact that YouTube isn't just for Americans, homie, and people who speak English? How about the fact that 60% of people who consume YouTube don't speak English? 60% of people who consume YouTube don't speak English. So what? We're not supposed to. And then there are people who, in response to that, always say, well, what if they just did it by country or by region or by language and everything like that? It's like, and so, oh, you're saying it's inconvenient for you to be exposed to the fact that you're part of an international community. That's just so annoying to me.
Yeah, why would they split it up like that? I feel like that just gets rid of such a huge.
I know, but it's that creators, like, I mean, I hate to say it, but you know what part of the YouTube culture pissing me off and being trash to me is and everything like that? The fact that it's like everything about YouTube is viewed from a Western lens.
Yeah.
And it kind of pisses me off because the social media and technology and media and YouTube as a platform is so much bigger than the US and the UK and Canada, and it's the prevailing view, and it's the loudest community about complaining about anything, and it's the prevailing view of everything has to accommodate the English Western creators in the market. And like, we're not even the majority of the market just because that's the quote unquote like most well-known and famous creators, because we have a culture of worshiping celebrities as gods because we're effing stupid. Again, I'm just a grumpy old man saying grumpy old man things.
You've been saying stuff like on your Twitter and even in our chat about how you're frustrated with YouTube.
As a culture, like as a culture and a community, I'm frustrated because I'm like, you know what I remember was peak YouTube? Freddie Wong. I remember when Freddie Wong and the Rocket Jump crew was like peak YouTube, because like they put everything in heart and soul, and they put like 50 hours into the effects on a 5-minute video, and like did green screen stuff, and they did it like as low budget as they can, and they saved up for like the cameras, but the cameras were the only things that cost money, and they did everything else in the budget, and they made ridiculously fun stuff, and they worked like before there was Mr. Beast. In a way, there was Freddie Wong, but instead of challenges where they threw money at it, they threw time at the editing to an absurd degree that no other YouTubers did. And that was like this standard. And so like VFX, and like there were so many kids that came up in the VFX culture or were inspired by Freddie Wong that went on to work in the Hollywood and the movie industry. People like Ryan Weber, who did the lightsaber effects and did Ryan versus Dorkman, went on to work for George Lucas and do VFX for the Star Wars game. So like for me, that was like peak YouTube. Peak YouTube was iJustine, and she still is in my mind one of the best content creators on the platform. But I remember when iJustine did a lot more than even just like tech and cooking, and she did all these different channels, but she also would do really cool things like music parodies with a green screen she got from like Walmart, like just that was just cloth that she would hang up, and she would do this stuff, and she would do the most that someone could do with iMovie. And so like it was actual like effort and craft and care and talent thought into this stuff. I remember the thoughtful dialogue of John and Hank Green, and everything from the original Brotherhood 2.0 experiment that created the Vlog Brothers and Nerdfighteria, and the Nerdfighter community. And I remember the creators that came from that, people like Karen Cavett with design and arts and crafts content, people like Foot of a Ferret with a brief history of. There was so much creativity and thoughtfulness and earnestness in YouTube before the culture shift of 2016, I would say, is the decline of YouTube when the Viners and clout culture and pranks took over the platform.
Yeah.
And flexing.
And isn't that also when like thumbnails and stuff became more important?
That's when clickbait became more of a thing. Clickbait. That's when the era of clickbait was the decline of YouTube, because now everything was about attention for the sake of attention and clout for the sake of clout, instead of it being about people being genuinely talented, genuinely thoughtful in what they were making, and really making everything with love and with care, and with like, there was a standard where you could not make mediocre content and expect to get anywhere. And I really mean that. And you couldn't get anywhere just by being absurd and just by being controversial. But after 2016 is when that happened. And like when you saw the rise of like all the negativity in the platform and the backlash and the drama and the infighting and the stuff like that, YouTube was a better place in like 2016 as far as I'm concerned. And it really went downhill from there, and it really got toxic in 2018, 2019, and 2020.
Yeah.
That's just one man's opinion. That's just one like grumpy old man's opinion who's been watching this platform since 2005.
Yeah, but it's true though. Like there's such an obvious shift in like 2016 to 2017. I feel like most people could almost like pinpoint it, even if they're not creators. Because they probably just noticed the most obvious thing was the amount of drama going on. Like that wasn't a thing before. Like I don't remember ever hearing, there was no such thing as like drama channels.
I remember when Michelle Phan was like the peak of what a beauty channel could be. And she was so earnest and thoughtful and wholesome and creative and artsy and nerdy and so, like self-aware. And like without even being into beauty, you could just admire Michelle Phan, even like as a dude, without even it being about being attracted to her. You could just appreciate what a good artist she was. And also the fact that she raised the bar. Like Michelle Phan did cinematically for beauty what Peter McKinnon did for tutorials. For her time. For her time, for what was available in the platform and the technology of the time, mind you. She might have been the first beauty YouTuber to ever actually use a macro lens.
Oh, wow.
And the photo nerds know what that's about. The camera nerds know what like a macro lens does for you.
All I'm saying is it's Vine's fault then.
It's not just Vine though. I mean,
because they brought us the Logan Pauls
to a point. I mean, Vine didn't create Rice Gum.
That's true.
It didn't create Leafy. I'm annoyed. I mean, no offense to the kid, but like, he brags about the fact that he made $4 million using a $60 microphone, doing what he calls, he himself, I'm not calling it lazy content. He said, and I quote, he made $4 million with a $60 microphone doing quote unquote lazy shit post. And when I think about all the hardworking creators out there who go above and beyond to craft something thoughtful, that irritates the hell out of me in the same way that I used to feel about the SpongeBob thing. I mean, what does it say about us as a culture and a platform that this is who we make rich and famous? What does it say about us as a culture, a community, and a platform? Think about who we make rich and famous, and then think about what it says about us.
Yeah, it's slightly sad.
I do this podcast with you guys so that I can feel good and hang out with my friends.
Wow. Talking about how YouTube's gone downhill.
Thanks for making me feel trashy.
Wait, I have a question. Do you think there's any way that YouTube could go more away from thumbnails? Because I don't think logically it makes sense anymore.
Yeah, well, I think they already are, though, aren't they? Because, I mean, they have the animated, like the video that auto plays in the feed.
Human nature, human behavior. It's not even YouTube that made it about thumbnails and click-through rates. Human behavior did that. But to a point, here's the only reason click-through rates matter. Click-through rates only matter if viewer satisfaction also occurs. Because if there's drop-off in the first 10 to 30 seconds of a significant amount, no high click-through rate will save your video and will help it find an audience or be distributed. Viewer behavior in terms of drop off at the beginning of the video and completions at the end of the video, overall average quality watch time and viewer satisfaction are all measured. And so we only think that's, just get a high click-through rate. But the only reason a high click-through rate matters is because it starts the clock. Viewer satisfaction as measured in engagement, watch time, drop off actually is what determines the success of a video. But none of that starts without someone clicking on it first. So everything that you can do to get attention for a video, which is the topic itself being a filter for do I care? And then the title being like, is it relevant? And then the thumbnail being, is it quality before I click to see if there was any effort put into this? Because the effort made in a thumbnail is one of the first indicators of the quality and effort that would have been put into the video. And then it's the first 10 seconds of, did they deliver on their promises? Is this good quality? Is it a good listening experience? Is it a good visual experience? Are they getting to the point? And if not, and the thing is, now that I have more channels and now that I have more formats and now that I have long and short channels and somewhere in between, I've been testing all of this. Then I've been taking it back to clients, having them tested, and I've been seeing the numbers. Like I've been seeing, and you've seen some of my tweets where some of my coaching clients have been reporting their spikes and their this and that. My thesis works, especially because there are people who frankly are better executioners of it than me. I'm Bill Belichick. I may not be the best player. I'm a damn good winning coach. I'm a winningest coach, okay? One of the winningest coaches in YouTube. But as a player, maybe I'm just above average. But as a coach, I help create champions. And I'm telling you, everything is viewer experience, user behavior. Everything how we do has to be in service of giving the viewer the best experience possible and an experience that they want to have.
Yeah. I don't care what the joke was, Romina.
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Michael said, what do you call a door when it is not a door?
This is a super old joke. This is kind of like dad joke territory, but a jaw.
The answer is a jar. And then Scene Sprout also said another one. What do you call a guy with no arms, no legs, and sits in front of a door? A mat.
Bum.
Wow.
Listen, Audrey, if you're not coming in here with the jokes, the audience is going to tell the jokes. So.
Wow. I've been upstaged by dad jokes.
Speaking of dad jokes, so what is it about this giant gator, Roberto, that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, so like in Florida, there was this like more than 3 foot long like gator. And it was really big. Like, I mean, and it looked like a damn dinosaur. It was like.
Did you see it, Audrey?
Mm-mm.
So there is.
Where? I'm just going.
It's not the first time that's happened. But let me see if I can get a picture of. It was up in Naples. Naples gator. Let's see.
Did you guys like stuff from them? Of it?
The what happened?
I was gonna check your likes if you've already liked them.
Oh. Why can't I get? Let's see. I want to get an article thing that I saw.
I've almost ran into an alligator before.
Here you go. All right. So there's here's the link. Just the first article that I found when Googling it.
Can you actually find a picture to pop up on the screen of like how big this freaking gator is?
God.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A dinosaur.
I told you it's like a dinosaur. Yeah, it's like for real.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So.
No, thank you. That's
here we go.
terrifying.
All right, guys. So let's get turn this thing off. There we go. So this is a video that someone recorded.
I told you. Like nah, fam.
No thanks. Don't people like know the gist basically of what animals or crocodiles they have like in their ponds or whatever? Or is this thing walking around like freely?
This is a gator just be like, this is my neighborhood now.
So if this is like the golf course property, don't you think they'd like be slightly aware of if they have ginormous alligators like swimming around? No?
Guess what? It's like, you know what? But like the real ones will be like, I'm gonna play through. I'm gonna play where it lands. I'm gonna play through.
That's kind of
But me? Nah, fam. Nah.
Those things can run too, like real fast.
Yeah, they are fast. They're like no.
What are those legs?
No, they can go. Like
they can go.
That people are like, if an alligator's chasing you, you have to like go in zigzags because they can only see straight, I think. But they will catch you if you're like sprinting against that thing will win for sure.
Like, yeah, no, I cannot even. No.
How fast are alligators? 20 miles per hour.
Yeah, no, thank you. On. If you're out of shape or overweight, you're done. You a snack. You a snack today.
No, okay, they can run for short bursts that can exceed 30 miles an hour. And they can swim 20. So, yeah. You can't. They look like they should be going fast, but those little legs go.
Please no. Please no.
Romina, you should look up a video of an alligator sprinting. I really, for some reason, want to see that. But no, I've almost ran into one before in a golf cart at night because I didn't see it because it was dark out. And it wasn't that big, but it was pretty big.
Roberto, will you please do the Jurassic Park theme song for us?
Like, yeah. Life finds a way. Like, I'd be like, like, you know what the theme is of 2020, actually, and everything like that? The theme of 2020 is death finds a way. No, the theme of 2020 is death finds a way. Death finds a way.
Oh my God. I feel like that photo was pretty nice representation of 2020.
Here, I'm going to see if I can find a video.
Do you remember the freaking video of the shark, that like the eagle snatching the shark?
Yes.
Like 2020, just calm down. Like 2020, just calm it down, man. Come on. It's like, no.
This year I want to see a YouTube rewind or just a rewind in general of all the weird things.
Fire tornadoes. The fire tornadoes. Do you remember the fire tornadoes? The fire tornadoes were, I'm like, and then the square dancing tornadoes. It's like, why?
What else was like weird that happened this year?
Murder hornets.
Yes, I said bees, but yeah, hornets. What else? There's like weird stuff every like month. Something crazy's happening.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, no recap, no rewind. You realize that if they did YouTube Rewind in earnest, that'd probably be like the most depressing thing you could watch.
Yes.
Or the most anxiety-inducing thing you can watch.
Emotional. If there was.
Like, if you want to have a high anxiety day, just recap 2020.
Wow.
True.
Unbelievable.
I mean, that's how I would probably, like, if I wanted to, like, torture prisoners, forget waterboarding, I would just, like, make them watch a recap of 2020 on loop.
Oh my god.
All right, guys, check this out.
What?
I got you a little...
Oh. That's not an alligator. What the heck is
It's
that?
coming.
Oh, I thought it was that thing on the ground. I was like, what is that? What is this filming, dude?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's going to get better.
Oh my god, it's going. No, I need to see it like
it's moving
next
pretty fast. Honestly, it's moving pretty fast.
It's moving fast. It's going.
But was he trying to play where it lands?
Was he dragging some food? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's dragging it so that he can see it walking or running rather. But he's like
it changes his mind and just like bites his leg.
Well, here, you're actually going to see it. He's going to film it from the side.
No. They're kind of cute.
I mean, yeah. The little ones are.
That was a joke, but okay.
I mean,
they
are when you just hold them in your hand.
What is this video? Why? What did this guy do?
So big.
It's not big.
Doesn't like it when it extends its legs.
No.
It's a small baby one.
No. Like, well, I mean, at that angle, he's just, I don't know.
He's just chilling. Look.
Get away.
He's just chilling as he's swimming.
Like, no.
At 3 miles per hour.
Like, no, I'm not about these gators, man. Like, do you realize, like, we might have, like, I mean, it's like, the year ain't over. We could still find, we should still get a Sharknado. We could still get a Sharknado before the end of the year.
It's possible. You never know this year.
It's like, I'm just trying to get through the end of this year. I'm just like so close to the finish line. So close to the finish line.
I wonder what's going to be the weird thing to happen, like, in December to end the year.
Oh, no. Do not do this to me. Do not do this to me.
What is the grand finale going to be? I don't think you want to know.
Like, I just need, I've never prayed so hard for a boring season finale. I swear to you.
No, I saw someone.
I just want the blandest. I just want the blandest. Like, and like, I mean, and not to bring up politics, but it's like, for politicians going forward, I want the most milquetoast, blandest. Like, my slogan is "Make America Bored Again." Make America bored again. I want to sleep through the news once again. I want to be like, the news is boring, Mom. I want that world back. I want to be able to turn on the news and be bored AF, out of my mind. No more excitement, no more revolutions, no more charismatic politicians. My requirement is they be the most bland and boring, milquetoast, like, least engaging. I want the room to fall asleep. Like, I want it boring AF. Like, and nothing else. No more excitement. My nerves can't take it. No more revolutions. No more populism. I want this to be like freaking what was the guy? Like, I want it to be like Ben Stein's boring ass history class from like the Wonder Years. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what makes America great, when it's boring AF and you ain't gotta think about it anymore. and you can go to sleep at night, and you can sleep like a baby because it's all just boring as hell.
You know, I heard one of my friends was saying yesterday, like, that's so 2020. Like, something weird happened, and she's like, that's so 2020. Is this going to be a new, like...
That's totally going to be a
thing. It's like whenever something weird, but also, like, bad happens, like, something unexpected that's normally bad happens. And so, that's so 2020.
Make America sleep again. Yes. Like, I just want to sleep. I'm just like emotionally exhausted. I'm tired. Like, let's just all take a nap.
Speaking of sleep, do we want to wrap this up in a few minutes?
I mean, we can. I mean, like, what's the thing? Like, we can wrap it up on like a positive.
We're wrapping up on time
in a few minutes. That's why I said in a few minutes.
Okay,
like,
so that we can plan for it.
Can't be too on time.
I mean, I'm okay with. I am disappointed, honestly, with them canceling Rewind, but I also just don't feel any good would come out of it, and I feel like people would just not just sit back and. I don't think people appreciate YouTube. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's without its problems. I just think people don't appreciate that it's a miracle that we have it. I don't think people respect the opportunity that it is, and I think a lot of people don't respect how and appreciate how great it is to even have an audience. You know, even of a few hundred or a few thousand people. I look forward to this. Like, we've never gotten 1,000 views on this podcast, I don't think. And I look forward to doing this every Thursday night.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, okay. Cool. I didn't know.
Like, yeah, we have.
Okay, so like, but you know, like, I look forward. We've done like what, like 40 episodes?
Almost. We're at 39.
Oh my goodness.
We're at 39. We've done 39 episodes. We've only taken off 2 weeks the entire year. One was because we were all in person hanging out, and another was because, excuse me, I think there was just no way to do one or something like that. There was something going on, or everybody had stuff because like in the real world, or like 2 or 3 of us couldn't do it. But like the thing is, I look forward to this every week, and I'm so grateful that we have like StreamYard, for example, to be able to make this easy for us to get together. Yeah. And I haven't seen you guys in person since like February, except I saw you for all of like 2 minutes, Audrey, because like, you know, of us swapping those microphones out. But like, it's been great to be able to do this with you guys. 39 episodes in a row. It's the like most consistent thing probably that I've had all year. You know, uninterrupted, to be honest. And this audience that we have, small that it might be and everything like that, I mean, but loyal, showing up, you know, showing up and seeing, you know, people like Andy and Mike and the others, like it's Connor, you know, like a lot of people get really sad about being small or this and that. And sure, we all have other larger channels, but we're more consistent on this than on our main channels. All of us are more consistent at this than our other channels.
Right.
And so I just appreciate that we like, I mean, I didn't grow up with YouTube, and I'm like really annoyed at how badly I see a whole generation of people who did grow up with it take it for granted and that don't appreciate misuse it. And I'm frankly tired of people insisting upon wanting to be like wanting to have a 1% life without having like 1%er level effort or talent, and wanting to feel entitled to fame and success and clout for their mediocre bullshit.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I mean, I kind of said this like 30 minutes ago, but I really do, like, I do this because it's fun for me to kind of talk to you guys and catch up with what you guys are doing, because we're all so busy, and we text each other like almost every day, but like it's not the same as like sitting down for an hour and actually catching up and talking about stuff and berating each other. So it's also like you guys kind of came into my life at a point when I didn't have a lot of people because I was in a new city. And I had a lot of friends, but it was like all over the world and spread out. And you guys know how that is. And it's like you guys were my first like actual friends in a new city when I was like totally alone and lost. So to be able to keep this up when we're not in the same city, I think is really special. And I think that it's not only just for us, but I see it in the audience. People are really grateful that we do this every week. And they feel like they're a part of our group and our relationship. And they feel a little bit less isolated. And I think that's kind of a nice thing to be doing.
Oh no, is it my turn?
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah, Audrey, it's your turn. The unofficial round table of feelings.
Dude, I just completely blanked. Hold on. No, I like how it's like we can talk about more random stuff sometimes, but then also we talk about like serious stuff as well. For me, selfishly, it's good because I feel like you guys push me to talk more and like just express what I'm actually thinking. But then at the same time, like I think it's really cool to just like have a couple creators chatting, even for the people watching. Because I know I would love to watch something like this if it was me in their shoes. So it's kind of cool. I don't know.
I think it always comes back to that. I think it always comes back to that, like making something you would want to watch or something you'd find enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there are things, by the way, that I do love about the YouTube community. I love what I'm seeing with like the Among Us collabs, and I love like finding new creators because of like, and maybe not new to the platform, but new to me. Like Corpse Husband, like totally love like his stuff now. There's a lot, huh?
That guy's been blowing up like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen anything like this in a while.
Yeah. And like, I mean, and seeing like what Dream has been doing with Minecraft, that's been interesting. Like, I'm not even into Minecraft like that, but like just seeing that he was a small YouTuber and he literally said, all right, I'm at 3,000. I understand the algorithm now. I've studied this for like a year or 2 years or whatever, and I'm going to deploy a strategy and I'm gonna get to 1 million. And he did it. And then now he's at 10 million. He's like, he was one of the fastest growing channels in the history of YouTube. And he clearly understood the angle of the algorithm he wanted to manipulate. And I'm like, and I applaud that kind of hustle to do that. I like seeing stuff like that. And again, his stuff's totally wholesome. And I like Nuxtaku a lot because he puts very thoughtful video essays into like these over the top meme like things, and like it's like very cool, very different for the like anime community. I'm not totally against. I don't hate meme culture. I hate lazy executions of it. I think I just hate anything that feels lazy
Dream
or
is an
mediocre.
example of good meme culture because he's wholesome, sort of, and he's doing like super well. So
I love.
Shows. Like you don't have.
I love stuff like that. I love when I see like what the best of the platform can be and succeed. I love seeing like one of the things I loved about YouTube Rewind 2018, to be honest with you, is that Marquez finally got his shine.
Yeah.
Like he was the rock star of 2018's YouTube Rewind and everyone was happy for him.
Yeah.
And I felt like if anybody deserved to come out of that whole thing a winner, it was him.
I mean, he's forever gonna be a meme now, and isn't that the biggest honor?
But in a good way.
Yeah, a good meme.
Exactly. Like and it's one that he can laugh with people at. You know, it's not at his expense. Like, you see, and so I like stuff like that. I feel that the criticisms that like Casey made of it were legitimate. I also, the thing is, it's like, it's easy to criticize YouTube, and it'd be hard to do anything on their part. Like, people talk about, oh, well, all of the creators who did YouTube rewinds did it better than what YouTube did. No, they didn't. I watched them, and it's like, and if you're not part of those communities, you couldn't understand what was going on. It was an incoherent mess.
It was like more just specific targeting whatever community. So they were good if you know what they were talking about, but it's not like the YouTube ones where they had this like inclusive thing of people from like an actual rewind of not just your little bubble. And that's where people complain for no reason. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, this is an ad about the entire platform, so of course you're not
about
know.
Your thing didn't get to be the thing.
Them. Yeah.
You know, and there were communities that weren't represented in it, and it's like, because those communities, like, you know who the communities were that weren't represented in the YouTube rewinds? The communities that get hit with demonetization. Gee, I wonder why. Like, the communities that get demonetized are the ones who weren't represented in rewind. You know, the ad for the entire platform. Gee, I wonder why. Oh, well, we're the real YouTube and everything like that. It's like, yeah, and you know what we don't do? We don't invite, like, you know, crazy drunk uncle to like the family gatherings for a reason. After a while, we just kind of like realize that's a bad idea, right? Like, I mean, yeah.
You think they're gonna do it next year?
I don't know. It depends. It depends on a lot of things.
I kind of feel like this year was slightly an excuse, but it's because of everything that's been going on. It's a justifiable excuse.
Here's the thing. You could go a lot of ways with this, and the thing is, I think that, and one of the things I said in my video tonight was, well, we can just do if we want a rewind for our niches, we could all collab and we could do our rewinds remotely together, whatever it is, in person, whatever it is, if you want to figure out how to do it safe. And like, yeah, the biggest people, the names of the platform, Mr. Beast, PewDiePie, these people with unlimited budgets, yeah, they could make a dope rewind. If people think that YouTube did such a bad job, then ask the creators that you know with unlimited budgets, or if you're a creator with an unlimited budget, or if you're a creator who can get brand deals and get brands together and everything like that, and you really think you can do it better. It's not like the creators don't plan big $10,000, $100,000, $1 million productions and go over the top. There are plenty of creators who make music videos and they pay like a couple grand and they get a music video done every month. If they want to, they could throw that money at doing their own YouTube rewind and getting their homies together, and they can do one. You know, you can get David Dobrik to do a YouTube rewind. You get the Dolan twins to do a rewind. You can get the Pauls to do a rewind. You can get KSI and the Sidemen to do the KSI and the Sidemen do a fantastic rewind. Like you can get these creators who have all these big, you know, like freaking bags that they flex all the time to make you a better YouTube rewind. If the community wants one so bad, the community could make one. And the thing is, as for the rest of us peasants who don't have that, then, you know, we can edit together something with our friends or by ourselves, and we could just put 30, 50, 100 hours into a project. And if we want it to be something that represents our niche or our style or our culture and make it a centerpiece of like our big hero content, we could do those things. But I think it's unfair to whine that the platform spends tens of millions of dollars to make an ad and they make it what they think it should be and what they want, and they didn't take our input on it. It's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to take people's input on the thing that I'm going to spend $1 million on either. I'm going to make something that I hope makes me that money back.
I mean, that's what people are complaining for, or taking it for granted, maybe. I think it's a nostalgia thing too. People are like, why isn't it as good as it used to be? And it's this like comparison thing that's kind of unrealistic.
That's subjective, and that's nostalgia too, because arguably from a production and editing standpoint, the new YouTube rewinds, even the ones people don't like, are objectively better than the old ones.
Yeah.
They're better shot, they're better produced, they're better edited. They're
but still, it could, even though it's like worse, the old ones technically, they're still like more nostalgic just from the time that they were made, so it doesn't even matter.
That's what I'm getting at. There's
no way that it's a lose-lose for YouTube.
When the Star Wars prequels came out, everybody hated them. I have my criticisms of them, but I loved them at the time. And then I had my criticisms of them later, and now everyone agrees nostalgically how great they are. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, like Scene Sprout says. Because here's the thing. everyone's crying and whining about how bad the new Star Wars trilogy is, Last Jedi, all that nonsense and everything like that. There's going to 10 years from now, people are going to be like, oh, this is fine. I'm telling you, 10 years from now, people are going to say, oh, this is fine. Because here's the thing. I look back on the original trilogy that everyone worships, and I'm like, you wasted Boba Fett. This is bad writing. Luke's plan is garbage. You think that like Finn and Rose's plan is garbage? Luke's plan for Jabba's palace is garbage. Like, oh, the First Order is so stupid, it would have done this, it would have that. It's like, okay, so the Empire is so brilliant, it didn't think that like the Millennium Falcon was floating away the garbage, it couldn't figure that out. I mean, it's like, Christ, the first trilogy is filled with so many damn plot holes and so many writing errors and mistakes that beyond even the new sequels and beyond the prequels, like everything you love has bad writing objectively, I'm pretty sure. And bad acting and performances. Like, you know, I mean, it just is what it is. Continuity errors. There's like, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. There's always something to complain about if you look at it. But if you just step back and you can just enjoy things for what they are and not have to be so damn critical and think that you know every damn thing about what perfection would look like, especially when you can't actually do any better, then you could just enjoy something for what it is, faults and all. And I just wish people could get back to just enjoying things, faults and all.
Like enjoying the No Assembly Required podcast. If you're enjoying this podcast, then please give us 5 stars.
5 stars in Apple Podcast because Spotify won't do their damn job. What's that?
Oh yeah,
we should make it a tradition. If someone leaves us a review, make it funny and we'll read it on live on the podcast.
I think we were doing that,
but we just never got it.
But then we stopped.
Come on, guys. I'm gonna go check now. Let's see. Why can't I check?
Romina, you've been awfully quiet for this last part.
The tables have turned. Did you hear that, Romina? He said you've been quiet. Oh
yeah, because you guys were going off about YouTube, and I was like, oh, we're done, guys. We're done.
Well, like yeah, I mean, but you could take us home, Romina.
No, we were all talking about, you know, leaving on a positive note, and I think we all kind of said something that was kind of nice. So I don't know.
Wow.
I'm not really
all, Romina.
Listen, I'm not about overstaying my welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have anything else to add. I'd rather not just add something just for the sake of adding, you know?
I think
did you find a review or not?
Yeah, Romina. On the spot.
Did you find a review or not?
No, there's no new reviews, guys. Please go.
That is her way of saying she's tired.
All right, guys. Here's the deal.
12 new reviews.
Here's the deal.
We have 12 people. All right, no, we have 11 because one of them is me. We've got 11 people watching right now.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have at least 6 new reviews on Apple Podcast by next Thursday,
we're boycotting. No.
We're not going to do the show.
Oh, no. Screw that. I need this show. We're not doing that. We're not punishing ourselves over them. Are you kidding?
All right. So then we're not going to pay attention to the chat.
This is cruel, Romina. I don't know if I can get behind this.
I object. Objection.
Guys, we have to give him some kind of
Phoenix Wright meme.
Instead of punishing, why don't we give a reward? We'll read them next time.
Audrey, do you have a link to the podcast on Apple?
I'll tell you how we can punish people. It's like if we don't get at least 5 new reviews and everything like that, you'll be subjected to Roberto karaoke.
Oh,
Lord save us.
I'm copying for the powers of the karaoke side.
All right, guys. Audrey's gonna leave the link. I actually think it's on. Is it not in the description of the? Oh, it's not. Is it?
What?
That might be something good to add in the description of the video. I'll be sure to do that for now and future. Yeah, guys, there's a link
on screen.
So if you guys can leave a super awesome, funny review, and we'll feature the best one in next week's episode.
Put a joke or something so that you're more likely, so it's more fun to read.
But also talk about how great we are.
Yes.
As individuals. Like there has to be a redeeming quality written for each one of us in your review.
This is getting very complicated.
All right, actually,
you're making
if you
this
want,
more difficult than it needs to be.
If you want, I'll write the reviews.
No.
So you'll write the reviews for them. You're gonna go full service.
Yeah.
You're gonna write the reviews for them, and they just have to post.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh Lord,
guys, I mean it though. There's so many of you in here.
Why are there 15 people watching right now? What's going on?
Because they've come in late.
They're watching us
at the end.
Plug our podcast at the end.
They're watching, but this is the perfect time because this is the time where we tell them about leaving a review, and they're tuning in at just that moment. So, guys, if we don't get at least 10 new reviews by next Thursday,
dang,
Roberto is going to do karaoke.
No, I feel like that might be an incentive for some people.
No, it's really not.
He's gonna do karaoke for the first 30 minutes.
Never mind.
Of next
30 minutes. I'm not.
No, I don't know about all that now.
How is it not? It's gotta be a punishment.
Why punishment? Wait, no.
We have to
be positive reinforcement, Romina.
Okay, all right, guys. If you leave us a comment, then we'll probably feature one of you. How's that?
And who will it be? There can only be one.
There can only be one.
There can only be one. Audrey, please tell me you know that reference.
The Star Wars one?
No, that is not. The there can only be one reference.
He literally just gave you a hint.
Why does this keep happening? We already know what the answer is.
Oh my God. Highlander. So uncivilized. So uncivilized. Highlander.
Here's...
I am immortal. I have inside me blood of kings.
Roberto, we're not punishing
I looked it up
yet.
and it's a Cars.
Yeah. No.
We're not punishing them yet.
No, me singing Queen would be punishment. Like it's like that'd be true punishment.
Roberto, I looked up Highlander and this is what came up. I put it in the private chat.
Romina, can you bring up
what you guys are sharing stuff in the private chat?
No. Highlander the movie or the TV show.
I know.
Or the animated series. Because there was one. Like, yeah, no. Highlander with Christopher Lambert, and then later the TV show series was Adrian Paul. And I forget anybody from the animated series, but I do remember the main character in the animated series was Quentin MacLeod. So, anyway, I know all of the pop culture trivias from the 80s and 90s.
All right, guys. Here's a picture of Highlander.
Womp womp.
That's what came up. Dude, audio listeners are like, what is going on?
For the audio listeners need to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the easier solution is just subscribe to us and be here every Thursday at 8 p.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. Unless Roberto decides to show up 20 minutes late, then it's probably around like 8:30-ish.
Oh, you know, as per usual and everything
Par for
like
the course. All right, Roberto, do you have an outro?
I think that I can accommodate an outro.
Yeah, this episode was definitely chill. I think YouTube should just cancel YouTube Rewind every week. because clearly we have enough to talk about.
I think we spent a good portion on like giant gators.
Oh my goodness.
And we spent 30 minutes literally just roasting Audrey for not knowing about cartoons.
The thing is, I do. All of them that you brought up, I recognized.
Yeah, after you Googled them.
Because I needed to see pictures of them to remember.
And then you said Arnold was an obtuse triangle.
Because he is.
He's a football
head.
Football head.
No, he's definitely more of an obtuse triangle.
Move it, football head. Yeah.
Well, since we talked about gators this week, next week we'll talk about hippos.
Oh.
You guys have seen the
No,
video
we need a
of
more
the hippo
threatening
charging,
animal.
right?
No,
Are you
more
kidding?
threatening.
Roberto, have you seen the video of the hippo charging?
Wait, did he just say we need something more threatening?
Yeah,
hippos
the
are like
hippo.
one of the most dangerous animals like ever, aren't they?
Yeah.
I saw that somewhere where they're like extremely deadly and dangerous. They don't play. If they get you, it's over.
What about them fire ants though?
No, there's no fire ant. You can just
Oh,
step
or those
on it.
new scarabs. Those new flesh-eating scarabs.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
What?
Roberto.
Mm-mm.
Look.
I mean, I don't like them scarabs though, but
All right.
like.
Oh
this
my
out.
God.
Are you
When you say hippos, Romina, all I can think of is hungry hippos.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Hippos
Exactly.
are not fun.
Look at this.
Hungry.
Roberto. Are you looking at this right now?
Yeah, I'm looking.
I'm gonna find this TikTok of a hippo.
Look, it's happening. Roberto, that thing is
How
swimming.
fast is that?
Look.
They're fast in the water.
Okay, that's really aggressive. I could see. All right.
If that thing bites you, it could like snap your head off.
You know, actually, now that you mention it, hippos are kind of like terrifying. Now that I think about, wasn't Set the Egyptian god that's a mix of a crocodile and a hippo?
I think so. Why does that sound right? I don't know.
The chat, am I right about Set being the cross between a crocodile and a hippo in Egyptian mythology as far as one of the gods? And isn't that the god that like weighs your heart against a feather and then like consumes you? Okay.
No, look at this.
Apparently I'm right.
Have you seen this TikTok?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I have
of
not.
eating the watermelon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So here's-
terrifying.
yeah,
so
that
here's
is.
the thing about hippos is yes, it can crush.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's so fast.
Hell no.
Okay,
Yeah.
I agree.
No.
They are a threat and they are terrifying. And
They run. So here's the thing.
and if you combine that with a crocodile, it's an eldritch abomination. So
So
Like a
the Egyptian came up with a really, really horrifying pantheon when I think about it.
Oh my God, why are there so many?
Like they were all about that
There's a
nightmare
lot of
fuel.
them.
The Egyptian pantheon is nothing but nightmare fuel if you really think about it.
so no joke. When I was living on the cheetah farm in Africa, they had one of the reasons that we couldn't go out at night was because there was a hippo that lived on the reserve. Her name was Gertrude.
Okay,
And
so
she was dangerous.
they give this menace the least threatening name possible.
No, I feel like that's the best name ever for a like,
Gertrude.
ginormous hippo. Wait, Romina, you lived on a cheetah reserve?
Yeah, cheetah
That's
farm.
kind of dope.
What? I love cheetahs. That sounds amazing.
Oh. Yeah,
How
so I was there for a couple weeks. So the thing about hippos is that they're really fast and their skin, they're basically like tanks. It's like imagine tank going extremely fast, and they're so territorial that if you are just like in the premises of their area, they will attack you. Doesn't matter if you're just standing there breathing. Like they will attack you. There's more deaths from hippos
Than anything else in Africa.
Than anything else in Africa.
Okay.
Isn't there something like there being like there was the saying about like a hippo can kill you, a black mamba can kill you, what's that saying?
I don't know.
Gertrude the Menace.
Yeah.
Sounds terrifying.
I like it. Gertrude the Menace. All right, Roberto, do you have an outro?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you for listening to the No Assembly Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing and alienate the entire YouTube community. Please leave us a review on Apple Podcast, as Spotify doesn't allow reviews since they won't do their damn job. As always, this has been your trio of hosts who you can find here every Thursday night at 8 p.m.-ish Standard Time, also late, called Roberto Standard Time. Yes, that one's on me. And, of course, this is us signing off, starting with Audrey, Wildfire Ember, Romina with the Shade, and, of course, your Dark Lord of the Internet, the Old Man of YouTube, Senior Citizen of Social Media, Roberto Blake. Thank you for listening to the No Assembly Required podcast. Tune in next week where we find some horrifying animal that will probably murder you, but we hope not. And of course, no audience members were harmed in the filming of this program, only the feelings of my co-host and any YouTubers watching. Nope.